So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce our special guest, Steve Kelly. And Steve is an international business consultant and a KB Gold leader that now has a great story to tell. Having visited with boots on the ground over in Europe, he visited the corporate offices, the refinery, the mint. And Steve Kelly, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right. Well, welcome to the call, Steve, and I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. I've got some questions, and we'll just go back and forth here. I'm going to ask you some questions here, and at the conclusion, if we have a little bit of time left, which I'm hoping we do, we're going to try to get through this Q&A in about 20 minutes here. So first and foremost, why did you get involved with this venture with KB Gold, and what did you see in this plan that merited your time and attention?
Well, really, Joe, your introduction answered most of that. I mean, all of the factors about KB Gold were very positive and very unique to have all in one package. And as you know, and as Cheryl knows, and a few others know, I did some pretty intense digging and challenging and so forth along the way, and as well as research that I normally do for my consulting and through contacts and other things. I couldn't find anything viable, anything credible that was negative about the program. I mean, they've paid every paycheck, they've delivered every bit of gold, you know, but it was sounding a little too good to be true, so I just kept on digging. And again, everything out there was nothing more than opinions and, you know, improper research or that type of thing where there was any negatives at all, and none of them were credible. So, I mean, that was a big part of it, as well as, of course, as everybody knows, if it hadn't been for this global, you know, economic collapse that we're still in the midst of, there's no way that we would have anywhere near as much of attention and potential as we have now.
Right. Well, and having said that, we are certainly glad that you enrolled and engaged and joined us on this venture. And at that point, you know, you were, I would say, probably 90 to 95% across what I call the bridge of belief. And the only thing left for you and for a lot of people is to actually see it, feel it, touch it, which is why you actually were invited to come over there, because of your credibility and influence with what you do professionally. But tell us a little bit about your trip to Europe. Who actually accompanied you on your travels? You flew over there, and who joined you?
Well, let me say, first of all, this whole trip was not about me, okay? This was about, I have a lot of different divergent experiences in my background that give me a certain affinity to all the aspects of this opportunity here. But there's a lot of very credible, very capable people in our opportunity here. And, you know, I came up with some certain strategic solutions for the company, which they're weighing right now, and they found very interesting. And, you know, that's what I do. I find solutions for companies. So what they're doing right now is weighing that, and that's a big part of why I was invited over there. But, you know, here's the key. We're all important to this opportunity. So it's not about me, it's about KB, it's about the opportunity for everybody out there. And when I went over to Europe, you know, we had already been planning a due diligence trip to check a lot of different things out. And yes, I was the first one to get invited over there. But Jimmy was right there to accompany me on the travels and do the translations and everything else. And everybody else was with me in spirit. So that was all very important. You know, we visited, first of all, the offices. And, you know, we were in Stuttgart the first day, which is their newest offices. And there I met with Harold and their German-based international attorney, their COO, and other executives, as well as Jimmy and myself. And, you know, we went through 3 or 4 hours of, you know, presentations and questioning and translations and so forth. And, you know, we were able to agree on a number of factors about the company and how we would like to proceed and open up the entire, you know, world as soon as possible. So once we came together on that, the next day we went to Munich and met with Mike Cochin. And again, instead of me getting grilled this time for 3.5, 4 hours, I was grilling Mike Cochin, and it was being translated, and others were chiming in occasionally. But basically, it was all about, confirming and affirming and getting specific, detailed answers to a lot of questions and qualms people had over here, as well as myself.
Okay.
And at that particular meeting, I'll get into a little more details later about the things that Mike shared with us and showed us. But again, everything made logical sense. Now, this is very important to the Germans as well. They're really big on logic, and all of the facts, were verified by documents and examples and, other, credible sources. So that's, really what was important, about those days around the main offices, getting to know everybody, getting to see everything. And, the offices are very, very nice, but that is not where their main investment is going, of course. It's into the program, into things that are going to define this program and strengthen it in every way.
Okay. Well, after visiting both of the offices there, you guys then headed on down to Turkey to visit the refinery. And who did you meet with down there? In other words, who gave you the grand tour? And if you can, tell us a little bit about what you observed while you were there at the refinery and the mint.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I want to say that I'm being a little bit vague about my answers because there's certain things I'm under non-disclosures about things that were discussed over there. But we're going to reveal as much as we can, and it'll all be revealed over time, of course. So I'll get as specific as I can on these questions, but understand that there's certain things that I'm not allowed to discuss yet, but they'll be coming out soon. So when we went down to the refinery Thursday, we went over to the facilities. We were picked up by a limo and so forth or whatever. We went over the facilities, and we went through an all-day tour. And we were able to not only ask a lot of questions, we also took a lot of, documentary pictures and videos and so forth. And, everybody was very forthcoming. They didn't really hide anything from us. And again, in fact, we got to see and hear some things that we're not at liberty to talk about yet. But in any case, everything about the facilities, again, I'm not a refinery expert or a gold mining expert and that type of thing. But if there was any hoax there, it's more elaborate to create the hoax than it is the reality. Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's really a key. And they had their scientists and engineers there. They showed us all the processes. They showed us everything basically that we asked to see. And all the documentation, all the certification, all the facilities, all of the equipment. And again, even some things that are still proprietary. So, I was very, very impressed with their honesty and their transparency and, all of the things they've done to show credibility. Because, there were some TV stations that went over there and did some so-called exposés. But, they went to the wrong addresses, and they did a lot of very inferior things. So it looks like they were just, again, trying to get some sensationalism going. But everything about it is extremely impressive, and they've got some new media groups coming in soon to do some other documenting and TV programs and so forth. And when those come out, it's going to be nothing but excited explosion for us, because there's nothing that they're going to find there that's not impressive about what we've got to offer.
Well, Steve, one of the things that I know a lot of people are concerned about, I mean, they're going to go from, being in business in several European countries to launching the world over the next year. And how in the world can KB meet the demand that is coming when they launch all these new countries? What is their production capacity now and in the future?
Well, first of all, they showed us not only equipment that they've been using for a while, but new equipment they had just had shipped in, and they were gearing up to make everything a lot more automated. I mean, there's a lot of labor-intensive aspects of this production, but they're making everything a lot more automated. They're adding equipment all the time. They're buying equipment before that, they used to outsource things to get done on the cards and various aspects. They're bringing it all in-house. They're expanding their facilities, and they've got plenty of more room to expand to, too, if it's needed. But, again, they are bringing everything in, paying cash for it. They're getting everything that they need with no hesitation. And they will just keep on expanding the facilities, and they'll create refineries in other parts of the world as well.
What's their production capacity right now?
Well, it's 48,000 units a day right now, and 800,000 units a month is what they can gear up to when they go 3 shifts. So that for sure they've got already. And, they can expand beyond that in the facilities that they have, as well as other nearby facilities. And, that is a key factor. But also, you got to understand, again, I can't go into great detail, but they have some proprietary methods of extracting gold from ore, and even ore that's been processed for other purposes. And I'll give you an example, again, without getting into detail, is they've got some ore there that they can get in unlimited quantities that is sold to various refineries on the basis of it having only 3 grams of gold per ton. They're extracting 45 grams, 15 times what others are supposed to be getting from it or what it's being sold as. So they can get unlimited, amounts of that. There's many other examples of that. You'll see on the photos and the videos. There was probably 200 different types of ore samples there. So their proprietary extraction methods and, their other aspects of their expertise in the refinery business is what's going to set them apart, really, because sure, they own mines and they have rights for other mines and, in various places from Turkey to Ukraine to South Africa, and they're looking at others. But the key is that they've got all this other ore that they can process as well. And, as well as being able to buy, being a refinery and a mint, being able to buy junk, or scrap metal and refine that and so forth, they're not going to run out of gold. In fact, if they run out of gold, I think most of us are going to be very happy because that means it's going to probably be like 50,000 a gram by then, okay?
Yeah. Well, I know another, and I know you obviously know, and those of us that have been involved for a while know why and how they can do this. But for new people, how can KB afford to pay the large commissions? I mean, you can get paid up to $900 for referring someone that opens a gold-backed savings plan, and then they're going to pay residual on deposits up to 5.5% each deposit. How in the world? But that's the tactical advantage that we spoke about when we were discussing the features and history, growth, and development. They have a true tactical advantage on all their competitors out there. So that is very comforting to know. Is there anything?
I spent a lot of time. Excuse me, but I spent a lot of time, questioning Mike Cochin on this. And, of course, Harold was there and others were there as well that are already receiving, large paychecks. And I said that, it sounded almost too good to believe. I said, I understand to a certain extent how you're able to get those margins. And I just want to know that that you have planned for being able to pay all of the different types of pools and everything that you have allotted here, that you've run the dummy commission runs, that you've done the payouts, for the last, 18 months or so. So I'm fairly confident, but I want to know from, you, Mike, why you're paying out such a large percentage of your potential profits and, how you feel that you can continue to do that. And again, it was answered by Mike, but it was also answered by all the other factors. It's the margins are there because they carry it from, the sand